From the onset, there was a clear vision that this was going to be run not with the level of mediocrity that existed at the time, but it was going to be run as an international organization with the best practices. So there was excellence on site from the get-go. And that was how the business was bettered. The last 20 years has been quite an interesting one. When it started in 2004, interestingly, I wasn't here then. However, the identification of a gap in the system by our founders of PartCare then, Dr. Richards and Dr. Pamela Ajayi, bettered this beautiful business. PartCare, now SYNLAB, was the first ISO accredited laboratory in West Africa. And there has been several firsts over the years. We've been at the forefront of driving quality and accessible healthcare in this part of the world, in Nigeria specifically. We have modeled what ethical practice in healthcare should be, collaborating with government, with the public sector at different levels, at the federal, at the state level, to bring quality healthcare closer to the people. We've also been at the forefront of driving partnership with different institutions, both in the pharmaceutical and the clinical research industry, to see how to drive advancements in science, leveraging on what we've done in Africa and being able to offer certain things that might have not been possible a couple of years ago. So I would say it's been a very interesting first 20 years. We've done millions of tests. We've been able to localize tons of tests, dozens of tests that ordinarily would have been sent abroad.
SYNLAB has grown significantly. A laboratory of 2 locations. Over these years, it has grown to a laboratory of well over 30 locations. From serving a few patients, and it has grown to serving well over 300 clients. So for me, this is quite significant. During the COVID-19 pandemic, SYNLAB occupied a very strategic position in helping Lagos State and at large Nigeria to also respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. The lab were responding to well over 200 samples per day.
I started just before COVID. It was really the speed of execution during COVID. It was absolutely phenomenal how SYNLAB could get the machines on time to be able to address the crisis that was already developing in the country and worldwide. Really just ensuring that we maintained our quality. We ensured that we literally had makeshift testing centers set up like in a matter of weeks. We're also present at the isolation centers, and we really were at the forefront of fighting the COVID crisis back then. And to sort of maintain that momentum through the years, even up until now, we've literally grown 300% since that time in terms of our patient numbers, the customers we're delivering value to, and as well as financial growth as well. That for me is absolutely phenomenal. Just seeing that growth over the years is something really to be proud of.
In the industry we operate, there are a lot of our competitors that they are engaged in some unwholesome behaviors that are not ethical. Some of them go as far as giving kickbacks to some medical practitioners for recommending their services. But in SYNLAB Nigeria, we see that as a no-no, because we believe and we are convinced that once you deliver the right quality, you make impact that will get your clients and your partners glued to you.
Driving force for our expansion is purely how can we bring access to quality healthcare closer to people. And that's why we are evenly distributed. SYNLAB is present in the north. We have a public partnership with the Benue State government. We're present in the southeast, in the south-south, and the southwest. And the goal for us is constantly working with doctors, working with clinicians, working directly with patients to improve outcomes, to improve quality of care, and help them achieve their health goals.
I can remember clearly a 34-year-old woman walking to the lab requesting a test because she's been having repeated abortion about 4 or 5 times. So what the front desk officer did was to connect that person with the pathologist, and the particular pathologist was on duty that day. Took time to get the history and suggested some molecular investigations. And lo and behold, we realized that there is a genetic disorder, that is causing this woman to be having a repeated, abortion. The woman was advised, and one exciting thing about it was that a year or two after, the pathologist working with the fertility specialist attending to the clients, the woman called back to say that, oh, I have my child now, with all excitement. This is what most laboratories don't have, and I think is one of the major things we are proud of at SYNLAB, that we have pathologists who is able to stand in the gap and support, doctors and clients to achieving their diagnostic objectives.
So as an individual, what makes me wake up every morning deciding to come to work, wanting to do what I do every day, is the fact that I know we're making a difference. When I hear the story of the man in Ilorin who was almost set for a prostate surgery, and someone just said, why don't you repeat the test? And then he discovers that really he didn't have a PSA value and there was no need for the surgery. For me, that's a difference I've made in someone's life, because he could have spent money, done something that was not really necessary. When I hear that, oh, by virtue of the test we did, someone was able to identify particular ailments quickly, it gives me joy knowing that I've made a difference in the person's life. When by virtue of the collaborations we have with different institutions, we're able to bring healthcare closer to people who ordinarily would not have been able to have access to care, have access to particular facilities, that gives me joy. When I travel to the north and the doctor tells me, oh, Mr. Kenneth, it's a pleasure to meet you. Prior to when you guys came to our state, our patients needed to go through the road before they could access quality health care. But now, with what you guys have done, they don't need to travel all the way to Abuja. They can walk into a facility close by and they will get the same quality of care that is obtainable anywhere in the world. That gives me joy. When I go visit someone in Port Harcourt and the doctor shares a story of how he's been managing a patient and he's been finding it difficult to get positive outcomes. So that one time he sent the samples to us and we're able to give him the right results, and that led to him administering the right treatments that help the patient become better. That gives me a lot of joy. I'm also happy when we go for outreaches and you hear people talk about how what we are doing is making a difference in the lives of those around them. That really is what makes me wake up every morning, knowing that I'm leading an organization where the people are committed to delivering excellence, where the people are committed to saving lives, where the people are committed to working ethically, to improve the standard of living, to improve the standard of healthcare of those around them. That makes me want to be part of this organization.
Being in SYNLAB is working in an organization where you have liberty to express yourself exactly the way you want to do it, without cutting corners.
We set our hearts to something, we set our targets, and we run with it. What is really interesting is the fact that everyone is on board. I've worked in different companies, and with SYNLAB, it's like there's a different spirit in terms of excellence and that cohesion and collaboration that really sets us apart. That's one of the magic ingredients, that thing that makes us the industry leader in the diagnostic space. And I look forward to how far that will take us as an organization.
Here we have gone beyond the same samples as samples. We see them as human life. And that accounts for why we are that meticulous in handling any sample that comes into SYNLAB Nigeria.
Everything you see in SYNLAB today is a product of its people. The combination of the efforts of its staff, from the most junior to the most senior staff, is really what has brought us to where we are today.
My name is Esther Ifanga. I came into birth care in the year 2007. I worked as a PA. From then, I moved to Lutz in the year 2014 as a customer service front officer. I had the experience of having to deal with clients, patients, to feel their impact. From there, in 2017, I was moved to the head office as an admin officer / front desk, and also running through client service to feel their impact and resolve complaints. From 2017, I've been in admin department. I grew my career as an admin personnel. I was given the position of a team lead in 2021 with the new current management. Thereafter, I furthered my career as the admin and facility manager, which I am currently occupying in the organization. It's been a smooth transition for me, and I want to say thank you to the management of SYNLAB for having to believe in me, giving me the opportunity to work.
My name is Ejike Festus. I joined SYNLAB in 2008. It has been a wonderful story, and I joined as a dispatch. When I joined, I probably don't know much about logistics and all. All materials provided, everything's nice, and it has been a splendid experience. By virtue of my job, I'm able to know many places. Like 5 years later, I was appointed as the logistics assistant. I was able to have another view again about the company, about logistics in general, and how things work out in the world of commerce. In the year 2017, Pathcare became SYNLAB, and therefore I also moved again to be the logistics coordinator. It has been wonderful. Materials, everything that made the job go fine with us have always been provided, and it has opened our world to the world of commerce, whereby we can move globally and do things internationally. You know, in SYNLAB, we stand for excellence. Everything that I know, I learn them on the job. So it's more of me being a student here, and it's more like I'm working and I'm learning. At the same time, I'm also getting paid for the job I do, and I thank God for everything, and I pray that God will continue to guide and protect all of us.
My name is Oluyemi Olaogun. I came into Pathcare, now SYNLAB, 2008 as a login officer, and I became team lead 2012. My role is to supervise and to train people and to follow what it is written down for us to follow. But along the line, I was able to develop myself to other areas of role in the organization that I feel that I can showcase my skill. I'm too comfortable with the department that at the end of the day, I feel that no, Yemi, you can do better. I demanded for other units, which was created. And that's why I love SYNLAB. Showcase your skill, your inbuilt capability, your capacity, you will be given the opportunity to perform. So at the end of the day, it was given as a key account officer, which I enjoyed for a period of time under my probation. At the long run, I became the key account manager. I don't know what it means to become the key account manager of an organization. So I enjoyed it by training inside and outside of our customers, our esteemed customers, attending to our inquiry, prompt response by calling, shutting them up.
Why do I like SYNLAB? SYNLAB stands for quality. By December, everybody's clamoring to get a 13-month salary. You could go flex yourself with that, and also the TGI I have. I also love the monthly beverage that we share to staff. It's not every organization that does that. I also love the fact that everyone is free with each other. I can walk up to the CEO and talk to him. I can walk up to Mr. Gabriel and have a one-on-one discussion with him. Everybody seems like a family in one way or the other. So it's been amazing 17 years having to work in the organization.
What I enjoyed mostly in SYNLAB is the training aspect of our policy. Our system involves training every Friday. We have a session. We are sometimes outsourced to other venue whereby we were trained for about months, and all these things come to us free of charge. We are exposed to international softwares and to the highest level. These things are free. That is what has kept me going on in SYNLAB, and I don't know of any other company that does this without money being attached. So I'm grateful and I enjoy it so much.
It's a very accommodative environment where monthly we meet up our target to see a mail flying. What you see on your table next is pizza. Milo, milk comes to your table. Which organization does that? SYNLAB has been very consistent in doing all this. I love that about SYNLAB. By the time we are presenting this case, we'll see it is either 50-50% gender equality.
What will the next 20 years hold for SYNLAB? Well, 20 years is quite a while to look out for. With everything happening globally, 20 years is quite a long time. But I can say for a fact, what can we look out for in the next 3 to 5 years? In the next 3 to 5 years, we should look out for a more ambitious organization. You can expect that SYNLAB would invest more in the Nigerian space. SYNLAB would be heavily involved in driving quality healthcare within the country as we've done in the last 20 years. We're looking forward to partnering more with government to be able to improve access to care. We'll be very much involved in advocacy and working with the relevant stakeholders to help the government achieve universal basic health care. And more importantly, SYNLAB is looking forward to keep pushing the envelope with regards to advancements in healthcare. We're looking to localize as many more tests as is possible. There is no need for you to travel abroad and use our scarcely available foreign currency to go do tests abroad. Even for those that are not localized, you always can work into our facility and have them done. There is no need to travel abroad.
Over the next 20 years, I see SYNLAB continuing to break new grounds, to continue to grow, branch into new areas in the diagnostic space, possibly also expand across Africa. That is something that is close to our heart, to be able to replicate what we're doing in Nigeria and Ghana to other parts of Africa as well. So there's still a lot more in store, and the future is bright for SYNLAB.
Ultimately, become a household name with regards to medical diagnosis, not just in Nigeria, as we already are, but within the West African space and by extension, the Sub-Saharan African region.